بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم نحمدہ ونصلی علی رسولہ الکریم اما بعد. First of all, I welcome all the esteemed guests of the from Maulana on behalf of Maulana Azad National Urdu University. As per tradition of the university, I would like to invite Dr. Samina Kausar, Assistant Professor with Department of Arabic, to recite the holy verses of the Holy Quran. Dr. Samina Kausar.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما. والذين يبيتون لربهم سجدا وقياما والذين يقولون ربنا اصرف عنا عذاب جهنم إن عذابها كان غراما. إنها ساءت مستقرا ومقاما. والذين إذا أنفقوا لم يسرفوا ولم يقتروا وكان بين ذلك قواما. And the servants of the Most Merciful are those who walk upon the earth easily, and when the ignorant address them harshly, they say words of peace. And those who spend their nights to their Lord, prostrating and standing in prayer. And those who say, Our Lord, avert from us the punishment of hell. Indeed, its punishment is ever adhering. Indeed, it is evil as a settlement and residence. And those who, when they spend, do not so excessively or sparingly, but are ever between that, moderate. Sadaqallahul Azim. Shukriya.
Thank you so much, Dr. Samina Kausar. Following this ceremony start, let us embrace our cultural heritage to play MANUU Tarana. I request the IMC team to play MANUU Tarana, the MANUU anthem.
یہ باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا. یہ باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا. آسمان کا یہ باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا یہ باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا علم و کمال فضل و شعر و شعور تک پھیلی ہے دل نواز مہک دور دور تک ملتا یہاں نصاب ہے سارے جہان کا یہ باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا ہر نقش و رنگ و بو سے کرو اپنی گفتگو آزاد درس گاہ کی ہے یہ بھی جستجو سب فاصلہ مٹاتے چلو درمیان کا یہ باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا غرب و جنوب سے ہو کے شرق و شمال سے آگے بڑھو خیال ملا دو خیال سے چرچا ہو کائنات میں ہندوستان کا یہ باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا فصل صدا بہار سے بستی بسی رہے مل کر دعا کرو کہ یہ کھیتی ہری رہے سایہ رہے سروں پہ کسی سائبان کا آؤ سفر یہاں سے کرے آسمان کا یہ باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا یہ باب شہر علم ہے اردو زبان کا
Thank you very much, IMC colleague. Now, I request the following members to give a warm welcome to our chief guest on the dais. For that, I request Honorable Vice Chancellor sir to please give a flower pot to our chief guest, Professor Devika Madal. Now I request Honorable Vice Chancellor sir to please present a flower pot to Professor Deepak Garg, keynote speaker of this conference. Now I request Dr. Akhtar Parvez, University Librarian, Jamia Hamdard, to present a flower pot to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Syed Anwar. Say formal line. Now I request Mr. Viplav Bakshi to present a flower pot to our registrar, Professor S.K. Ishtiaq Ahmed. Now I request Dr. Aisha Sultana, Deputy Librarian, to present a flower pot to Dr. Akhtar Parvez, former University Librarian, MANUU, and presently University Librarian, Jamia Hamdard. Okay. Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Syed Ainul Hasan Sahab, today's chief guest Professor Devika Mapalli, Director InfluMnet Center, Professor Deepak Garg, keynote speaker of this conference, and Vice Chancellor of SR University, OSD1 Professor Shagufta Shaheen, OSD2 Professor Siddiqui Muhammad Mahmood sir, the deans, directors, HODs, esteemed faculty members, staff, research scholar, invited guests from outside, and my dear students. Good morning. Welcome to the conference on AI-enhanced digital libraries, transforming access and discovery. We are gathered here today to explore how artificial intelligence can revolutionize our approach to information access and knowledge dissemination. Artificial intelligence is bringing exciting advancement to the field of library science. As with any significant technological shift, it is crucial for us to critically examine the scope and appreciation of AI within library sciences, as well as its broader implications for teaching, learning, and research. This conference aims to explore how AI is transforming library science and its wider impact on teaching, learning, and research. To start, I would like to share a few words on our esteemed organizers, Nimbus and Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Hyderabad. Basically, this conference is organized with a mutual contribution from Nimbus also. Nimbus is India's leading e-library and knowledge management platform. With over a decade of experience driving digital transformation in institutions worldwide, Nimbus is at the forefront of creating thriving e-library hubs that are both accessible and innovative. This vision is clear. Technology should empower, not hinder, libraries and their communities. This belief has led to the development of a cloud based platform designed to simplify library sciences and enhance the user experience. As far as the Maulana Azad National Urdu University is concerned, it is for those people who are from outside. MANUU is a central university established by an act of parliament in 1998. The university is named after Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, the first education minister of independent India, who envisioned and laid the foundation of technical, scientific, and higher education in India. The university offers regular programs through 8 School of Studies, School of Arts and Social Sciences, School of Commerce and Business Management, School of Education and Training, School of Journalism and Mass Communication, School of Languages, Linguistics and Indology, School of Sciences, and School of Technology. Recently, there is a new addition of one more school, namely MANUU Law School, under the able guidance and leadership of present Vice Chancellor Professor Syed Ainul Hassan Sahab. Professor Hassan has also been performing cultural ethos by establishing various cultural and literary clubs in the university. His vision for the advancement of the university is just remarkable. I would like to share that it is the third event being organized by the library in this month, starting from a special lecture by Professor Azizuddin Hussain on August 1. Then the visit of His Excellency Mehdi Shahruqi, Consul General of Iran, and now this one is the third one, AI General. With these remarks, I would like to invite Dr. Akhtar Parvez, former librarian of this university, and now he is serving as a university librarian in Jamia Hamdard for his remarks. Dr. Akhtar Parvez, sir.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, my very senior professional colleagues sitting on my right, in the middle, and of course on the left, our faculty colleagues of this university, staff members, my library staff, IMC team, students, research scholars, a very good morning to all of you. I am very happy to be back in this university, and happy because I feel that this is my second home, and anybody would be very happy being here. When I was about to land, then pilot announced that the temperature in Hyderabad is 24 Celsius degree and it is raining. So you can imagine the feeling of someone who is coming from Delhi. Okay. So I will not talk much about this conference because you all know, what this conference is on, and because we started late. So I'll just say a few things about this conference. That initially, we wanted that we hold this conference on 12th August this year, but then Professor Devika was not available, so we shifted the program as per her convenience. Also, in May, we got an email from Mr. Viplav of Knimbus, and he wanted that we should hold some kind of a small program here. And then as the discussion progressed, we thought maybe, we can do it in a better way, in a bigger way. And today is the culmination of that program. So I'm really very happy to be back with my people, where I spent 7.5 years. And not just that I spent 7.5 years, but because I spent these 7.5 years with wonderful people, our staff, our faculty, everyone here. So thank you for, giving me this feeling. I'm really grateful to all of you. So in this conference, we have, of course, inaugural, as you all know. Then we have 2 panel discussions. So one panel discussion is on AI and library services, which would be moderated by Professor A.R.D. Prasad. And as you all know, he is a former professor of DRTC, ISI Calcutta, Bangalore, sorry. Then, the other panel members are very senior and distinguished Professor Tagore Fellow, Professor Sudarshan Rao. Then we have Dr. N. Varatharajan, University Librarian of Hyderabad Central University. Then we have Dr. Ila Vadagan, he's librarian of IM Trichy. And then we have Saiful Amin, he who is the CEO of Semantic Consulting. And he's not just the CEO of Semantic Consulting, but he is a consultant to MANUU also in a very informal way. And now he will be going to be a consultant for Jamia Hamdard also in an informal manner. Thank you, Saiful. So we have another panel discussion, in the after lunch. We have the topic of the panel discussion is role of AI in teaching, learning, and research. And it would be moderated by the doyen of library science, Professor Lakshman Rao, and the other members include the librarian of IIT Hyderabad, Dr. Bhujuraju Gunjal, Dr. Achala Munjal, who's currently officiating as university librarian at Osmania University. Then we have Dr. Vivek Avardhan, who is head and chairman of the Department of Library Science at Osmania University. Then we have Ravi Kumar Chigoni, who is assistant professor at Government City College, Hyderabad. And lastly, Dr. Raghavaiah, who is librarian at VNR, Vignana of Engineering and Technology, Hyderabad. So this is a small introduction to the conference. And let me tell you that when we sent the request to the Vice Chancellor for approval of this conference, he immediately agreed to it. As usual, he promotes these academic programs in university, and all of us, we see a sea change here in the new university. So I'm very grateful to him for allowing us to hold the conference here. And also, I'm extremely, extremely grateful to Professor Devika to agreeing to be here. And this is the first time that any INFLIBNET director had visited our university. With this, I think I thank you all, and I hope that I'll meet you again. And I request Faisal to invite me again and again, who is a very methodical and process-oriented person. So thank you, Faisal. So before I leave this podium, let me introduce the chief guest of this morning, who is Professor Devika Madali, who is director of INFLIBNET. She's prior to joining INFLIBNET, she has served as professor of DRTC, Indian Statistical Institute, and as an adjunct faculty, DISI, University of Trento, Italy. She has extensive experience in teaching, research, and capacity building. Her interest lies in the area of OER, that is Open Education Resources, and educational resources repositories. Open data repositories and data management, knowledge organization, and application of facilitization in information systems, information infrastructures, digital libraries, semantic web technologies, faceted ontologies, agri-semantics, multilingual information services, very difficult words which I'm trying to pronounce properly. So she has served as a member of the Karnataka Education Authority and is a member of the Karnataka State Higher Education Council. She has served as a member of the Technical Advisory Board of Research Data Alliance, that is popularly known as RDA. She also serves as co-chair for RDA interest groups on research evaluation, Global Research Commons, and RDA SDG group. She's a member of the governance board of DRIDE. Dr. Madali has served as an expert consultant to UNESCO, UNFAO, OECD, Commonwealth of Learning, and the European Commission, and has traveled to about 50 countries on professional assignments. She has been awarded Fulbright and Aramis Pundus Fellowship. She is on the advisory board of Universal Decimal Classification, which we generally know as UDC. She serves as the chair of Open Access India Working Group. She served on the advisory panel and scientific committees of several international conferences such as SWIB, ICADL, MTSR, SciDecon, LEDLOM, and ICSD. She serves as a member of editorial panels of prestigious journals such as Knowledge Organization, DSG Library, High Tech, among several others, and has published widely. So we have a very, very distinguished guest at MANUU this morning. And once again, I would like to thank her. On behalf of MANUU, I express my sincere gratitude to her for agreeing to our request. And I request her to please deliver the inaugural address. Thank you.
First of all, thank you, Dr. Akhtar, for a very generous introduction. That was long. Respected Honorable Vice Chancellor Ji, Professor Garg, and the distinguished members of the dais, distinguished invited professionals, my dear professional colleagues, students, and researchers who are present, a very good morning to all of you. It's indeed a pleasure to be amongst you today, especially in a conference which addresses a cutting-edge topic. I thank Dr. Parvez, who was persistent in contacting me to get my date, and Unfortunately, I was not available on 12th August, but he was very accommodative and he said, you choose a date and then we could make this happen. Thank you, Dr. Parvez. So coming to the main theme of the conference, AI-enabled digital libraries and how we could transform access and discovery to library. The terminology chosen is digital libraries. I think it's about transforming access to libraries themselves that we are talking about. And also the sub-themes chosen here are AI and library services and role of AI in teaching, research, and learning, which are also very important sub-themes and which, in my words, need urgent attention from both the community of practicing librarians and the community which are academicians which contribute to the next gen librarians. So it is maybe the right time to sort of bring everything into perspective and how really this profession should gear up to and address or gear up to what we need to do in maybe the next 10 years. So putting the AI itself in perspective, we at DRTC under my teacher is here, Professor Prasad. This is in the early 90s. I don't know how many of you will believe it. It is in the early 90s that Professor Prasad started a group of AI in DRTC, Indian Statistical Institute, with his own PhD research, which we researchers assisted in and learned a lot. Those days, we didn't have this in our palm. But sir was saying that we do AI. So how do we do? And even the internet was at ISI, which is a leading institute of this country and advanced. We had internet in one room and it was locked. And those who need to have access, we used to fill some form and access it for certain number of minutes. That's the time I was looking. I'm talking to put it in perspective. And that's when we started working on AI. So sir used to visit a lot of libraries and collect books. And of course, we used to illegally copy them in the name of fair use and spiral bind them. And he had a library of this, a library of AI books in 90s, 91, 92, I'm talking about. And he made us read it. We, as usual, students don't read books. So, but he made us read this, and it was a very, very interesting and fascinating journey for us. Though we started reluctantly, like the students of library science reluctantly read Prolegomena to library science, no? So I have been 30 years after students and chasing them to read Prolegomena. And they reluctantly start, and like me, after a while, they become addicted to that book. So that's how it is. So we did that with his thesis in AI applications to indexing. My own thesis was in AI application, a frame-based knowledge representation model to represent colon classification. And why I'm saying all this is to put it in perspective, how library science lends itself to AI and how AI can lend itself to library science is really a possibility. We did it actually. And why I could do a work applying AI to this colon classification is because Ranganathan was rigorous. The way he asked us to model knowledge was rigorous. There was a model which he gave the do's and don'ts of how we do things. He didn't call it knowledge representation. He didn't call it AI, but that was the basis of mapping. The way I tell my students, it's all about mapping. And knowledge is not something linear. It's not so easy to put all those books on the shelf in a linear model and think that that is how our user's perspective of knowledge is, because knowledge is multidimensional. And when we try something like mapping on such a multidimensional, diverse thing as a knowledge, we will have challenges. And that's where Ranganathan's principles helped us, where he had the rigor and we could apply that. And then I could successfully complete my PhD. So that is the historical perspective of how AI was done. And those days, already, because in the West, the AI wave has started already in the late 70s and 80s. It was a much celebrated topic in Stanford and other universities. By the time 90s, end of 90s, people were like not having very much hopes. They were skeptical. And they said, we will never make that intelligent machine that AI is aiming for. So there will not be a replacement of human. That's what they realized. But then, in my understanding, just the byproducts of AI, the experiments, brought a huge gift to the research and academic community world over. Just the byproducts of the fail. That's why we can say that we can learn a lot out of failures. So we got some valuable things. Even when those days when we were doing, the dream was that I dictate a query to a system and the system should understand. So NLP, we thought that it should advance to that level, that I can dictate something and then we could get. Today, what do? We say, Google, where is Hamdard University? Or Google, what's the program of this particular conference? Or Meta AI? Or today we are doing that, right? So those days, what we had given up as hopes has come a whole circle back, and then we are able to do what we had hoped to do. Then after a few years came the wave of semantic web. Again, when we did all this work, I think as early as 1993, we hosted a national conference or a seminar on AI applications to library science, which was unheard of. And in 10 years' time, in 2003, I think we announced the first semantic web conference for LIS, which was unheard of. And by 2007-8, we were ready for an international conference on semantic web applications in library science and library services. So that's the kind of work. So when semantic web came, it sort of the original AI discussion took a backseat, and everything was excitedly being talked about as semantic web. Again, we started looking at what is this semantic web, and again, it turned out to be a lot of knowledge mapping work. That is what is involved. And soon we realized that library science, the principle of library science, and especially the way facetization is done, can be at the heart of semantic web work. And that's where exactly when we started off our work with faceted ontologies in semantic web. And me and my students, my group of students, have been doing this work in ontologies. Slowly, the excitement shifted from there and went off to web-based services, and then a lot of e-commerce and all more exciting, practical day-to-day solutions using the web. This took the center stage for again, about 10 years. And we moved away, the main discussion on the web moved away from semantic web, though there are groups which continued and which gave good products, but e-commerce and these things took the center stage. And now AI has made a comeback from maybe 2 years, and especially from 1.5 years now. And a comeback a comeback where we just put OpenAI and just ask anything related or unrelated, and we get what we want. However, there is a lot of both kinds of feelings with this. There's a lot of excitement and there's a lot of apprehension. Like just when the computerization came there, when computers arrived at ISI, the first computer at the Indian Statistical Institute, I hear there was a strike, because ISI is located in Calcutta, and West Bengal is known for strikes. Okay, so the first computer was welcomed with a strike, and they said they were apprehensive that they will lose their jobs because computer has arrived. Okay, so it so happens now after about 67 years, nobody lost their job to a computer. So that's the story. Now also people think AI has come, and AI will make several jobs redundant. And like I already said, there is no machine that replaces human in AI as of now. Why? We have to look into why. Why? Because computers are good and they're great. They're great for their speed. They're great for their storage, right? These two things humans cannot match the computers. But in the end, it is all about inferencing, right? So if I get stuck not coming to this university, like yesterday, our dear Indigo made me go through some tension. And after I reached the airport, it was just postponing my trip for like 3 times. And then already my mind started thinking that Akhtar will get a heart attack now if I say I'm going to cancel out. So what can I do about this? And I was already trying to look at solutions. That's what we need. There's all data is there. I can call up the other flights here on my mobile, but the decision making and how I reach this university in time for this inauguration, this kind of inferencing and getting things done, we still need interventions. So that's where. But the main distinction I can say between the AI of those days and what we are seeing now is really about data. It's all about data, data, and data. Why AI can bring these solutions at our fingertips is really because of the rich data that is available now to these applications. And if we make that data richer by our library science background and make it more semantic in some way, then I think we'll go nearly closer to real AI solutions. This is where I carve out an opportunity for the field of library information science, especially the researchers, where we can do data-based interventions and think of lending our very long experience and expertise in knowledge mapping towards this area. Right now, I can say there is a lot to be desired in how we do our research data sets in this country. We need to drive more awareness about how we produce data, how we curate data, and how we can make data usable as well as reusable. That is the mantra. It's not that we just produce data in some research projects, do the research project, write all the publications, and forget about that data set then and there. That's what is happening right now, which is not a very desirable thing. This is where open data and the whole open science movement is that we make data sets amenable to be used by others, reused by others, and then we create the cycle again back in the whole data curation cycle. So that is where I am really hoping the future of AI driven libraries is. Libraries no longer will, I hope, the people who fund libraries do not stop. I hope they stop counting footfalls. Okay, footfalls is no longer going to work. It is just clicks, the number of clicks we can count, how many clicks your libraries had, how many real users came, how much time they spent, and what they spent their time on. If we can get data about this itself, we can have a lot of interventions, useful interventions for our libraries. So that's one thing. The other theme today is about the future of teaching and research and learning. And of course, we already have so many interventions in this area. How teaching can be revolutionized, or how learning can be assisted, the student learning process can be assisted, and how research itself can have interventions. There are several already this thing. Only I said apprehensions are there, and they are also legit as of now because it's very new. All the teachers are there now crying that we give an assignment and the student is just dictating that to OpenAI, and whatever OpenAI gives, they print out and they are submitting to us. So everybody is asking the plagiarism software, are you detecting this? Okay. So this is where we are right now. A lot of apprehensions that it's being misused. But anyway, any tool that was ever discovered was used and it was misused. That doesn't mean that we discard something. But there are several interesting avenues where we can adopt AI assisted teaching, learning, as well as research. I will not go into each one of them. There is an entire panel in the afternoon which will be discussing about this. And please indulge me as the director of InflibNet. I would like to spend the last few minutes talking about InflibNet itself. We have several of our services. Many of you are already aware. If you go to inflibnet.ac.in, the services are already listed. We do not still have a formally launched AI service or AI intervention based work, but we are already having a working group inside InflibNet thinking of what we could do and what kind of interventions we can offer to the University Academy of India in the terms of AI adaptation that we are looking at. But meanwhile, I would like to just talk about the latest offering that we have from InflibNet. This was dedicated to the professionals on 12th August, which is the Librarians Day, which was the first Librarians Day celebration at InflibNet itself. And we have the offering of what we call as InflibNet Corner. So InflibNet Corner is nothing too special. It's just a large poster and a live tree where we have enlisted our services for libraries as well as for research. So InfibNet is a library network of India for academic libraries. But then we did not stop there. We are really support for higher education in India itself, because we help UGC as well as MOE for their several of their projects and rollout of their projects. So one such offering is the corner. We have all our services which we have done for libraries as well as for higher education. These services are QR coded. So please install the corner in any corner of your institute, your library, your reception, wherever, so that your students can just point their mobile at the QR code, whichever service they want, and access the service directly on their mobile. So this is one request from me. It doesn't cost much. It could be, I request you to put it in a physical form, because when students casually are walking and they see a physical tree-like thing standing or a poster, maybe it draws their attention. So it doesn't cost much. But then when they point their mobile there, they directly access the services. So with those few words, I thank you, Akhtar, for the opportunity, and Honorable Vice Chancellor for having me here. I wish you all the very best for the conference. Thank you very much.
It's an honor to have a Professor Devika Madali provide us with her inaugural address, as she brings her expertise on AI and its various manifestation in academia. She also talks about at length what the InfibNet is doing for the academic libraries and the universities itself. Now, a highlight of today's event will be Professor Deepak Garg's keynote address, which promises to be enlightening. For that purpose, I would like to introduce a brief. I want to give a brief introduction of Professor Garg. It's my honor to introduce Professor Dirk Garg, Vice Chancellor, SR University, a distinguished expert in artificial intelligence and efficient algorithm design with 25 years of experience. He has served as a professor and dean at Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, Patiala, and Bennett University, Greater Noida. Professor Garg is renowned as one of the top voices in AI in the country. He is a regular blogger for the Times of India under the nickname Breaking Shackles, where he writes about the higher education landscape and AI. He is also on the advisory committee of Eravat, the supercomputing mission for the Government of India. His passion of working with startup founders is evident through his roles on the tech advisory boards of Drishya AI, Byte, Excel, and Global AI Hub. He has served on various prestigious committees and boards, including NAC, NBA, UGC, AICTE, and IEEE, Education Society USA. With 160 publications, 1,600 citations, and numerous research grants, Professor Garg has made significant contribution to the field of AI. He has guided 14 PhD students and has given over 350 talks across the country. With these words, I request Professor Garg to please come.
It's already there.
Oh, thank you. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Syed Anul Hassan of Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Honorable Professor Devika Madali, Director InfibNet, all my other distinguished colleagues at the dais. I can see many of the known faces whom I have met in different conferences. So I don't know exactly what to say in this keynote, because the audience is not technical. I can keep on hours and hours speaking on technology, on AI. So the role of librarians is very crucial in this evolving era, because they also have to play a role in defining these two extremes of AI. On one side,
our generation, young generation, is becoming slave of AI, and on another generation, we are hoping to reap the benefits of this new technology. So we are becoming slave to the extent that our life partner, if we go on matrimony.com or shadi.com, is also being recommended by AI generated algorithms. And many of them really are choosing one of them, those who are being recommended by AI. We are consuming videos only which are recommended by YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. There are millions, billions of videos. You never go to them. You only go to selected 10, 20 which are being recommended on your screen. That is the power of AI. Even if you know the route, you try to follow Google Maps and sometime you land up at some other place also. May have happened once or twice when you follow that. So in the morning, it is now difficult to start without AI. Even if you open your phone, if you are using biometric or your face, you are using AI. If you are doing smart payment throughout your day, if you are chatting with anybody, you want to get your phone repaired or you want to get your internet again back if it is not working, or any of your electronic devices or any website. So any chatting you are doing, you are using AI. So this has become so part of our day-to-day life. So previously, when we used to teach in 15, 20 years back, we used to say that the computers can only solve something which is mathematical, computational, and it will never come into the creative domain of humans. But now the AI is completely into every art and craft what the human does. There have been music concerts which are totally conceived by AI, and nobody even can differentiate that this whole music concert was created by AI. Fashion shows done completely by AI. Then there are novels, books, poems written by AI, and you can't distinguish. The paintings being auctioned at a better price than human generated paintings, right? So AI is now into the domain which were previously unknown for computers. So now specifically, what is at the stake for librarians? So those who don't adapt for new technology, those librarians, they will lose their sheen. They may not lose their job. And those who are AI enabled librarians, they will become indispensable. They will rise up the hierarchy. That is same like what Dr. Madali said. When the computers came, even we did not lose the jobs, but those who are now accustomed to computers are more proficient in computers. They have risen in their stature. They are now uh, more holding more power. Those who did not adapt and are still doing manual things are not adapting to technology. They are far behind the power game. So that thing will also be there whenever the new technologies come. So I want to specifically talk about the use cases that librarians can think upon, that what they can do in changing the whole landscape of this uh, era of knowledge. Because librarians are custodians of knowledge. They can transform the whole campus. They can transform the whole city. If there is a city library, they can transform a whole country. Because now what is at stake is that the younger generation who are not coming to library, but like again the previous speaker said that now it is more of whether they are reading it or not. So your role also to make them more interesting to read, because why it is crucial is, as AI is dependent upon data, and factual data lies with libraries. The publishers, the network of publishers is fully integrated with the libraries. So if any unbiased or more accurate or more professional AI learning language model has to come, it has to have all that digitized information as a data set for its LLM. So you have seen that lawsuits are coming. Recently, there was a lawsuit for Bloomberg. There was a lawsuit with New York Times. There was other lawsuits. So why those lawsuits are there? Because LLMs are trying to get those articles of 20 years, 50 years written by that press as part of their learning language models. Because if those articles are not there, then they are only dependent upon the information posted by users on their social media or on different platforms of Google or Facebook or Meta. So, which is a unstructured and unauthenticated, unverified information, so which can be biased, which can give us again a hallucinated output. So, what librarians can do, one is the enhanced search and discovery. So till now, even means if we get a library software, most of the users are searching books by name. But now they can search just by some topic or what they are looking at, not even topic. They have some thought in mind. So they just think that where I can find some more perspective on this thought. So they can just write a line or they can write a paragraph and they can press enter and they can see that this article can be relevant for you, this book can be relevant for you, or this particular chapter of this book can be relevant for you. So they don't need to spend too much time in searching for resources. They can directly pinpoint through this LLM that this is the resource I want to look at. So that can be made possible by the librarians immediately, because there are so many open source LLMs available. If you can somehow plug in the titles or the abstracts of the books or the material or the content that you have in the library into that LLM, because now localized LLMs are very easy to make. You can use a open source LLM and connect it with an API and create a local database, and then immediately you can make this search and discovery possible through that LLM. Another is the automated metadata generation. So lot of time being taken till now in classification, in metadata generation of each of the manuscript or book you have in your library. So, but now this metadata generation can be automatic and can be more scientific. As of now, we were just writing 4 or 5 keywords that this is the keyword of this book, but now it can be more enhanced. It can be more semantically valid, and it can be it may not be limited to few words. It can be also the names of the characters in the book. It can also be the names of places in the book. It can also be the names of thoughts in the book. It can be names of the countries in the book. It can be the dates the books are referring to. It can be the historical places the books are referring to. So unlimited. So you can tag all those things, and wherever the metadata is useful and the user is trying to access that kind of information, they can directly go to that. Another is content summarization. So many of the universities in Europe and US, in advanced countries, they have already gone through this process, that they can give you a summary of every article, research paper or book they have. So many apps are also there where they say that you don't have time to read the full book. So you have a 10-minute audio summary of the book. You don't have time to read the whole research paper, whether it is relevant to you or no or not. You don't know. So why to read all 6 pages? This is the abstract, or this is the key methodology being used in this paper. If you think it is relevant, then go into detail, take more time and read it full. Otherwise, go to the next paper. So content summarization, uh, which was not possible manually if you have thousands and lakhs of books in your library, now it is possible very easily. So means you can even try in any LLM, you just copy paste and you say, give me 100-word summary, it will give 100-word summary. If you say 500-word summary, it will say 500-word summary, right? So then you have virtual reference services. So till now, we were not having this kind of facility available. But now you can give virtual referencing services through the use of AI. and that again does not require any additional effort or cost from your side. So that virtual referencing again will be a path breaking service that you can provide. Then it is content curation and creation. So in India, I don't know, means because libraries are not like a social engineering spaces. Some of them may be, but traditional libraries are more of a reading spaces. But if you go to some European country, if you go to let us say London or New York, then some of the libraries are social engineering spaces where the people meet. They have a discussion space. They have a seminar space. There somebody can do some extempore on some book. They have some book reading groups. So like that, it is a social engineering space where they talk about multiple things. So there, this content curation and creation will be useful, where let us say you want to represent something in a different era, or you have some old version of a book and you want it to be transformed into something which is more representative of today's linguistics. So that can also be done by AI. Similarly, if you want to do multilingual services, or if you want to see it from an accessibility perspective. So especially, let us say we are now talking in this university, which is uh, helping Urdu to have more importance and more people attached to it, and how it should grow. So similarly, how we can translate more and more books and content to this language, similarly to hundreds and thousands of other languages. So recently you saw the Google used around 78 or something languages which were spoken worldwide by less than 1,000 people. So otherwise, now the whole effort was, because there was so much of effort required to translate from one language to another language. They have to know the whole semantic of the language, grammatic of the language, and everything using NLP. But now, because of AI, even those languages which were spoken by less than 1,000 people, they were able to translate the content into those languages also. So those people which were devoid of these benefits, now they can also take these benefits. So then we can also create transcripts of various books in the library. We can create audio version, we can create video version. You don't need any manual intervention. You just give the whole digital thing in the LLM, and you say, I want to create a 20-minute audio of this summary of this particular book. So it will create a audio summary automatically. Those tools are not of the future. They are there already. Similarly, now we have text to video, you have image to video, you have paragraph to video creation, which are still evolving. Video creation is still at its infancy, but definitely they will also be there. So non-native speaker support is also very important, because libraries, when somebody goes outside from one city to another city, in the previous time they used to go to some place where there are newspapers or where there are libraries, so who are non-native to that place. For example, I am not from Hyderabad, I am from Punjab. So if I am coming here, I want to understand the accent or the local linguistic, and want to understand some local language, then also the libraries can help to the non-native speakers, that how to talk to local people, how to interact with the local customs and all. So that is also important. Then collection development. So as of now, means we are just having books which are recommended by students or teachers. But now, like Professor Devika said, that we need to see the people get something which they are interested in, where you are getting more footfall, where you are getting more clicks. So similarly, you can enhance your collections where you are seeing more interest, and you can diminish your interest where you are seeing less interest. So like that, your library can in real time adapt to the requirements of your stakeholders. So that is also possible. And then data privacy and security. In many cases, in some advanced libraries, there are some books and manuscripts which are not supposed to be made fully public. They are there only for reference, and sometimes they need special permission to access. So, in that case, they can be made more accessible if we can make some part of their data which can be anonymized. So maybe only some dates or some names or some places were supposed to be secret, but the other information, conceptual information in those books is can be open to all. So then we can make that as we can anonymize those books or that content, or we can redact specific part of that book, that okay, this paragraph will not be visible but the other paragraph will be visible. So that redaction and that anonymization or pseudonymization can be done by AI LLMs. So then user engagement, the librarian can help, means easily you can this using LLMs you can create tutorials also. So and there are students who are, let us say, coming fresh students, uh, those who don't want to go into very detail of the book. They want easy tutorials. For example, many students, they are buying pocket books for clearing the exams. So there can be some small question answer booklets also that can be created using LLMs automatically. There can be some quiz booklets created. There can be some ready reference material that can be created. There can be cheat sheets that can be generated. Now many universities are allowing open book exams, so they just want to take give me the formulas which are there in this second chapter of probability. So all formulas, they will come on a page, they can take a print and go and give the exam. Similarly, you can create some quiz questions using that book. So all those is very easily possible. And then you can also, means it is your duty to push the publishers to integrate their content with these LLMs. As of now, the publishers are resistant because they again think that we will lose our business. But if they are forward looking, then they can actually make more business models out of this. So if they can integrate their published content with the LLM of individual library or a set of libraries or the platforms like InflibNet or the other national platforms, so then they can be they can get more audience, they can get more readers. So in terms, they can create more business out of it. So for example, the digital library platform like Nimbus, who are sponsoring this conference. So we also experimented this with Nimbus with our students, faculty. They also experimented, and they were able to become more proficient in the subject they are learning. So we did a testing with our Python course, which was being taken by our first year students, that how they can learn it in an interactive way. And many times when they have you have a question, you need immediate answer. You can't wait for the teacher to come to the class or the next day of the class, or you can't wait for, means if even if you send them an email that you will receive an answer, by the time your curiosity is gone, your enthusiasm is gone. So many times you need immediate answers because you are uh, in that mood of studying. So immediately you need answers so that you can go ahead and study more. So continuity remains. So in that way, this platform has also proved very useful. And this platform also supports some kind of multi-agentic frameworks where we can uh, plug and play different tools that can be possible using the AI platform. So in that case, Nimbus is a quite exhaustive and quite wider tool, which not only works for library but also works for the teaching learning process. So means maybe some of you can experiment with that. So if you find it useful, then you can adapt it, or you can give some suggestions for further improvement, because these tools are continuously evolving. So these were my inputs to the librarian community sitting over here. And uh, regarding another topic that came up was that what about a lot of people are scared about AI, or they have apprehensions about AI, or they are looking for whether the general AI which will come, that will be kind of catastrophic for human race, because it will be a superhuman that will be created. So I will just take an example, like in Holland, they in a restaurant, they replaced all their waiters with the robots. Here also in Hyderabad, in Bangalore, you have one or two restaurants which are robots are serving. So then after 1 year, they analyzed that whether they lost jobs or they gained jobs. So they found they gained jobs. Means there were more people than the waiters who were managing those robots. They were cleaning them, they were maintaining them, they were feeding some different menu items or different styles which they are continuously changing. They are, even if they are changing their sitting positions in the restaurant, they need to change some algorithms in the robot. So there were more people who were there in the whole ecosystem of managing robots. But only change what was found is that the same people who were the waiters, they cannot be employed if they don't upskill themselves. Some of them can be employed if they upskill, if they go through some training, if they go through some workshop. So same thing is happening with the courier delivery services also, or the other delivery services. Let us say if we are going with drone deliveries, so that also will require thousands and lakhs of people to maintain those drones in a warehouse, and then uh, give them some direction and route where they have to go, where they have to deliver, what they have to deliver. But the same courier people, they need to be ready to get upskilled. If they don't upskill, then they lose their job. Somebody else will get their job. But the overall number of jobs may increase or may remain same. But it is very necessary for us also to reskill ourselves, to get updated with new skills, to ourselves get our hands dirty in the technology. If you say, okay, now chat GPT is there, you are saying chat GPT, but you are not using it, you are not trying it. You are not comparing it with Gemini AI, you are not comparing with it Cloud AI, you are not comparing it with Meta AI. Then you, how will you see? Then you will just keep talking, but you will not get to know the power of it, how much power it has, how much it can affect your work. So my only request to all of you is to get your hands dirty in the technology, so that you can guide your staff, your students, your faculty to further use these tools. So thank you again to MANUU University and Nimbus for giving this opportunity to give a keynote. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Garg, for the insightful lecture. Now, I call upon Mr. Viplav Bakshi to actually Nimbus wants to officially inaugurate the Nimbus 4 version of. Okay.
Just like you to stand up and hold it together. Yes, I'll yes. Thanks. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for inaugurating 4.0, Nimbus 4.0 version. Very happy to be here and meeting a lot of people who we have talked online, but meeting for the first time. First of all, my heartfelt thanks to Professor Devika Madali, Professor Deepak Garg, Professor Hassan, Professor Ahmed, Dr. Mustafa, and Dr. Akhtar Parvez, and all the distinguished moderators, panelists, guests, and faculty and students from MANUU. It's indeed a privilege to be here, and I'm very happy to have been granted the permission to have an event here. Thank you on behalf of the entire Nimbus team, not just the ones present here, but all across the world, for launching our humble effort and making your digital libraries more engaging and more effective. Nimbus 4.0 offers immense flexibility now to design the library the way you want. You can design your own library website, you can design pages, you can design spaces for departments, for showing custom content or the content of your choice to each department or user groups. And this content can be your subscribed content, your institutional content, open access collections, and any kind of a content that you want to index into the system. We also now have introduced a greater amount of flexibility and extensibility than before. One of the key innovations we have made is to add a dynamic set of cataloging, which can allow you to display content from external sources. So, for example, if you would like to get feeds from archive.org, or you would like to do any other integration with, say, different sources that are like news or other research that's happening across the world, you can now go ahead and integrate that in your library as well. We also now have the capability to integrate search engines of your choice. So it could be Google Scholar, it could be popular discovery platforms, or any other source, including your online OPAC as well. In the coming days, I think you'll also see a lot more innovations coming in from Nimbus, including things like sushi integrations and tools for AI. We are in the process of integrating teaching and learning assistants that can assimilate your chosen content itself. So like Professor Deepak said, that if you have content already and the publishers can also give you access to this content, it can be ingested in the large language models and can be made available for your access by students and teachers. Students will have the flexibility in these models to clear their doubts, to take practice tests, summarize content, do content revision, practice, and also be able to interact with the content in much deeper ways than before. I would specifically like to thank Professor Deepak Garg because he allowed us to work at his university with students and actually test out some of these innovations here as well. We really wanted to kick off this launch with the discussion on AI as center stage, and specifically Gen AI, and applied to teaching, learning, and research. There are specific ways in which I view this landscape. And it may not be the only way, but I think there are relevant viewpoints here. First of all, I see libraries of the future as being storehouses of large language models. By that, I mean that the LLMs will be purpose-built and specialized for various academic and research requirements. And libraries will actually collate all those large language models together with the structured databases and repositories that we have today. I also see libraries as oracles to whom you can ask anything and get results from, not just as sequential collections of discretely ordered knowledge assets. I think I can now begin to imagine a new order where many types of content will be liberated from the tyranny of the front cover and the back cover. So you'll be able to take that content out from there and be able to do many more things with it. Content itself is changing type and form. As Professor Garg said, we are seeing some kind of a content equivalence now, where text, voice, video is going to be interchangeable, and therefore will allow content to be explored in many different multimodal modalities and help us in our teaching, learning, and research. In that sense, I see the role of librarians changing fundamentally. I see them as curators and creators of LLMs. I think all of you are uniquely positioned in terms of your skills and training and your passion to bring all this together in one place. You're able to assemble and make sense of vast amounts of knowledge stored in different formats, and that is what is required now from a language model perspective. I also would like to stress that today, the large language models are just that. They are language models. So you're taking a vast amount of content from the open web, from open sources, and you're creating a model that relates one word to another word or phrase or sentence. And that's not domain knowledge. that's not how you would describe physics, or that's not how you would describe mathematics or any social science. Those domains have their own ontologies. And therefore, I see librarians as creators of new LLM based ontologies as well, new ways to represent and describe content for LLMs. I see you as tool makers. I see you making new and new tools, leveraging AI to create newer ways to access and summarize and present content. And I see you using that in different ways. Building LLMs is not just one part of the problem. The other problem is to see if they behave in a safe and responsible and unbiased manner as well. A lot of the content today coming from the West has Western content. So there's a lot of bias in that content. And therefore, we as librarians must make sure that we prevent bias in these LLMs as well. And finally, I see you resolving the problems of AI reliability. So how do you make them more grounded in real world truth? How do we solve issues of AI and plagiarism? How do we deal with AI-based issues relating to publishers' use of content, and so on and so forth? So I think overall, this is a watershed moment for all of you. I think from the time Dr. Ranganathan invented the colon classification in 1933, I think it's time for newer systems to emerge, maybe newer ways of classification to also emerge. And it's my hope that some of your research may be directed towards some of these new and innovative and transformative ways of looking at content and data. Perhaps in a few years, we may be able to say AI is our forever. Every person, his or her AI, or every AI, its user. Again, thanks very much for your presence and your blessings today. We're very honored to be here today, and I hope this conference will prove useful to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vipal Bakshi. Now I invite Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Sayyidul Ainul Hassan Sahab for presidential remarks.
In the name of the one who bestowed life and wisdom upon us, Professor Devika Medali, Director in Flipnet, Professor Deepak Garg, Vice Chancellor, SR University, Professor Ishtiaq Ahmed, Registrar, MANUU, and of course, one more guest, 2.5 months old, Dr. Akhtar Parvez, Dr. Faisal Mustafa, the program organizer, distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are participating in a discussion on artificial intelligence. A lot of technical things are there and responsibilities of our library staff. And very rightly, Professor Garg says that the librarians are custodians of knowledge. Very true. Never be under wrong impression that they are custodians of books only. Knowledge, because you have to guide each and every knowledge seeker how to go about it. And let me tell you, I don't know to what extent our students are enrolled with in Flipnet. Because if I recall, it happened more than 20 years back when UGC suggested, and I registered myself. I'm registered, but yes, lately, something happened and I'm no more very active participant of InfluNet. But yes, that presence of Professor Madalli will definitely encourage us to know more about it. About Nimbus, I think this is also a suggestion. You can create your own personal library. You should have access to other libraries also through various technologies, in fact. But Professor Garg, let me tell you that, however, artificial intelligence, whether we should believe or not, human creation, this is also human creation. But we can create little more also. One of my, friends of my age, in fact, when he started browsing through shadi.com, and the answer was very ugly. And the answer was, don't browse through artificial intelligence, rather real intelligence. So I think there is something called real also. So how to go about it, you see. I think one day someone will come forward and suggest. But at what time one should become a member of a library? See, because my concern. When a baby is crawling, in fact, and all the time baby's attention is drawn to some paper, some books, in fact, and they are mostly snatched away. And you will find a book in many pieces. But yes, there is something called cognitive development, and then cognitive development leads to preservation. How to preserve it? And I don't know the age, but I remember, Mazdoor Library. I belong to Varanasi, and then Mazdoor, there is Mazdoor Library, which was just a kilometer away from my house. So my sisters were very interested to read novels. They were very fond of reading novels and fictions. So I was made a scapegoat, in fact, and that time, I became member of Mazdoor Library. And how much I paid? Just rupees 2 rupees. And then I became member. I used to go and get books, say maximum two novels, 3 novels were given to me, and then within, say, 6-7 days to return. And then so it happened, and that's how, you see, I also started getting some attachment to reading. And then I also started, Akhtar Parvez Saab, somehow around 50 odd books Nikhat Publications, Jasusi novel. Yes. And that is lying in the library and nobody is reading it. That is, I gave you. So what is happening? Your collection of books, in fact, you see, that interest also develops, to the extent. And that's how you can create your own world. This is the world. You say artificial intelligence. I say real intelligence is this. So anyway, this happened. I don't know, I was in New Jersey and very close to Princeton. I was teaching as a Fulbright, I was teaching in Rutgers State University. And Princeton was hardly 10 miles away. So I was invited to deliver a few lectures in Princeton also. And still I'm a member of Princeton Library. Because on the basis of my interactions with a few departments, and particularly astrophysics, so they offered, and then I was given permanent membership. But the kind of library I have seen in Princeton, it was not in Rutgers, it was not in other places. I have seen Purdue University also. There you don't find Chicago University. But Princeton University, quality is that you don't see books. when you browse through by the name of author or the name of the book, then the wall opens. One day I started, with Umar Khayyam. I said, let me see Umar Khayyam. And I found all books on Umar Khayyam, new and old, even, the document which was not, in the knowledge of people. So therefore, you will find this is how, things are developing in libraries also. How I wish to have similar kind of library in our university. This is somehow I feel. But yes, your interest and how do you develop interest in readers? How do you attract readers? That is also important. Not only that, see, in the website you see the name and then you consider, okay, this is also one. But rather you should invite people to come forward. As you know, many people in Hyderabad, they have, when we started this campaign, they came forward. And now, you see, some 16,000 books donated to our library. So this is how. You see, library is meant for preserving documents and inviting readers to go through the documents. This is how, you see, we can try our best, but yes, nothing more, nothing less. There are few intelligent people around us. And the kids. Why can't we invite these kids, in fact? And their love. There are many schools around us. We should invite them. They should come and see through their naked eyes what is happening here. There is a library in their midst. And our campus is in the center of, say, financial district and in Cyberabad. Therefore, and so many schools and colleges around. In fact, we should not be so conservative about it. जो गाहवारे में, see, I tell you, हर चीज का एक इस्तेमाल होता है. अगर इस्तेमाल नहीं होंगी चीजें तो वाकई खराब हो जाएंगी. उनका इस्तेमाल जरूरी है. किताबों को आप कितने दिन तक अपने शेल्फ में रखे रहेंगे? रखे किताब खराब हो जाएगी. और उसका इस्तेमाल होगा तो उसके ऊपर निगाह होगी. मुझे एक साहब जा रहे थे, अपना दीमक लगा हुआ पूरी बुक्स जो है लाइब्रेरी दरिया में बहाने जा रहे थे. और मुझे कहा कि आप भी आ जाइए. मैंने उसको बड़े उससे खोला तो उसमें एक किताब मुझे मिली, मजमऊल बहार. अभी हैरत करेंगे, मजमऊल बहार. उसमें जो है वो सोने के पानी से लिखी हुई किताब थी. मैंने उसको ले लिया उनकी इजाजत से. इसलिए नहीं कि मैं उससे सोना निकालूंगा. जब याद रख, ये इसलिए कि वो कीमती डॉक्यूमेंट था जो बचा रह गया था. अब वो मैंने दे दिया मरहूम वकारुल हसन सिद्दीकी साहब को. वो डायरेक्टर थे उसके आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे के. उन्होंने कहा मैं इसको लैमिनेट करा दूंगा, लेकिन उन्होंने कभी मुझे वापस नहीं किया. ये भी होता है आदमी. आप बताइए, अगर कोई स्कॉलर अगर किताब चोर ना हो तो क्या हो? होना पड़ता है उसको. वो कोई भी किताब जिसको पसंद आ जाती है वो देना नहीं चाहता किसी को भी. वो किसी सूरत से अपने पास रखना चाहता है. आज अख्तर साहब कह रहे थे कि 20 साल हो गया, बहुत सारे लोगों ने किताब वापस नहीं की. जो गाहवारे में रंगे शबाब रखते हैं, सुनिए, जो गाहवारे में, गाहवारे कहते हैं क्रेडिल, फ्रॉम क्रेडिल टू ग्रेव. जो गाहवारे में रंगे शबाब रखते हैं. बहुत सारे ऐसे बच्चे होते हैं कि जो किताब से मोहब्बत करते हैं, इल्म से मोहब्बत करते हैं. जो गाहवारे में रंगे शबाब रखते हैं, सवाल होने से पहले जवाब रखते हैं. और हर एक चीज की आपने देखा होगा. मेरी उर्दू आप समझ रहे होंगे. मैं उर्दू की जैसी चाशनी अंग्रेजी में नहीं ला सकता. मेरी ये मजबूरी है. कि वो उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी में उर्दू न बोली जाए तो ये भी नाइंसाफी है। सो अब हर चीज की ये पहले तो भाई जो शौक होता है जिंदगी के पहले मैदान में आप जब कदम रखते हैं जहां आपको जरा सी मोहब्बत समझ में आने लगती है तो यही किताब काम आती है जिसमें एक फूल रख के और किताब का एक्सचेंज होता है। ये किताब है कि जो सारा काम किताब कर रही है। कहाँ गए थे? किताब लेने गए थे। ये नहीं बताएंगे किससे लेने गए थे। सो दिस इज ऑल्सो जिंदगी में बहुत सारे डायमेंशंस हैं। दिस इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द डायमेंशंस। तो जो गहवारे में रंगे शबाब रखते हैं, सवाल होने से पहले जवाब रखते हैं। अब आपको बताया मैंने किताब में गुलाब रखा है। उनके लिए मेरी नसीहत ये है कि हर एक चीज की, उन्होंने वो पेज तो खराब कर दिया गुलाब रख के, हर एक चीज की अपनी जगह मुकर्रर है। हर एक चीज की अपनी जगह मुकर्रर है। जहां पे दिल है वहीं पर गुलाब रखते हैं। आई होप people will understand, and I'm grateful to Nimbus also, and we hope that we will enrich from this contemporary knowledge and technology. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the insightful and encouraging words. And Vice Chancellor, sir, is the chairperson of this conference also. Uh, Now join us in celebrating the achievements of our distinguished guest with a felicitation ceremony, for which I would like to invite Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Syed Anul Hassan Sahab to present a memento to our chief guest, Professor Devika Madali. Now I request Professor S.K. Ishtiaq Ahmed sir to present a memento to Professor Deepak Garg. It's my privilege to present a memento to Honorable Vice Chancellor sir.
Oh, please.
Now I request Mr. Vijay Kannur to present a memento to Professor S.K. Ishtiaq Ahmed sir, Registrar of the University. Now I request Dr. Akhtar Parvez sir, the formerly librarian with this university and Hamdard librarian, to present a memento to me. Yeah. Now I request Professor S.K. Ishtiaq Ahmed Sahab to please present a memento to Dr. Akhtar Parvez. इसके बाद Now, I due respect, I would like to invite Professor S.K. Ishtiaq Ahmed sir, Registrar of this university, to to vote of thanks, formal vote of thanks.
Good morning to all of you. Respected members on dais, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Syed Ainul Hasan Sahab, Professor Devika Madam, Director Inflibnet, Professor Deepak Garg Sahab, Vice Chancellor SR University, our former colleague Dr. Akhtar Parvez Sahab, presently serving as librarian at Jamia Hamdard, and our librarian Dr. Faisal Mustafa sir, and our all colleagues, members, dean, directors, experts from various universities dealing with libraries, and many faculty members. Indeed, we are very happy that our university, the Central Library, Maulana Azad National Urdu University, has taken this initiative with the help of, or rather, it can be said that it is Dr. Akhtar Parvez, when he was here as librarian, he took the initiative of holding such an event, and that is dealing with artificial intelligence. It is AI enabled digital libraries transforming access and discovery. And for this, he has again identified two very important areas dealing with AI, and that has already been shared. It is AI and library services. It is a role of AI in teaching, research, and learning. And for that, he has invited a good number of panelists, moderators, and experts dealing with technological aspects, role of technology in empowering and improving and advancing our library education, digital education, and digital addition to our library. All are participating here. I welcome you all on behalf of our university, on behalf of our Vice Chancellor, Professor Syed Ainul Hasan Sahab. We are very happy that with your participation, no doubt, some, the ideas, new ideas dealing with AI and the transformation, all that will come up. And this will be very helpful for our library system, for our students, for our faculty members who are doing researches and who are trying to be benefited out of the role of the technology, digital education, and of course the intervention of AI in our life. In fact, Professor Devika Madam and Professor Garg spoke on many important points. The entire gamut of transformation that is taking place today with the help of AI has been shared with you, and we need to support and encourage our highly educated professionals, staff members, and the experts as far as the role of AI in our education is concerned. Support of all experts participating in these events, especially senior people like Professor Lakshman Raoji, Professor Prasad Sahab, Professor Sudarshan Rao, and all members will be very beneficial we would like to have some joint projects on that, and we really welcome you to the MANUU campus. Have a nice stay, and we are thankful to all of you, especially our two important dignitaries for sharing various perspective into AI, and we will go a long way in shaping the better future of our library education, our library system with the help of AI. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Ishtiaq Ahmed sir, for his insightful lecture. Now I request the IMC team to play the national anthem. And for that purpose, I request all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais to raise.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Now I request that we will assemble after 10 to 15 minutes for the panel sessions. For tea break.